Hey, Al, Barry, that global warming thing, I think you might be off a little bit. But you go ahead and continue your war on coal and everything else. Go ahead and do that. We'll see how that works out for your party. Because when it starts getting painful, your brain dead zombies are going to wake up. I'm just saying. Well, as far as, I don't know. Zombies can wake up, but I hope they can. Tomorrow, high 80 degrees with a 50% chance of storms the next 3 days, with highs around 80, upper 70s. Looks like we got a chance of rain for the next 7 days straight. Actually, the next 8 days straight. Mostly 50% chance, and a couple of 30s and a couple of 40%. Definitely a cooler summer, that's for sure. But you know, global warming causes global cooling, don't you know? Yeah. That's kind of like my thermostat or my furnace. You know, when it gets too warm, the furnace shuts off. And then it starts to cool. So I guess, kind of, if you're looking at global warming, like your thermostat for your furnace, I guess global warming could cause global cooling, because once the thermostat shuts the furnace off, it does begin to cool. And then when it gets too cold, the thermostat turns the furnace back on, which is, I'm guessing, means that our planet has a thermostat, which I don't believe that nonsensical theory anyways. The Atlantic conveyor or whatever. That's all nonsense. Been climate change going on for about 4.5 billion years. Had 2 or 3 ice ages. We've probably had I know for a fact it's been, I think about 250,000 years ago, it was 80% hotter than it is now, 70 or 80% hotter than it is now. There was no SUVs, no coal mines, no, none of that. Moving on, a couple of headlines off the Drudge. Ukrainian forces destroy Russian convoy. I don't think that's the convoy that was bringing humanitarian aid. I think they shelled some armored vehicles. At least that's what the story said. Above the fold on the Drudge, they just updated it. A few minutes ago, excuse me, some of the headlines were ISS planning on attacking us on American soil. And then the next headline was open border. We're beyond an open border. They're going to attack us. We'll find out it came across that border. And we'll see how the Mercedes Marxists and the country club conservatives, we'll see how they justify not closing the border next time 3,000 Americans die. You just hate brown people. The ones trying to kill us, I do. And I don't much care for the ones who are, raping and murdering and robbing. Don't much care for them either, now that you mention it. We have another knockout game going on. This time a pregnant woman. You know, if you play the knockout game with a pregnant woman, I'd just soon put a bullet in your head. I know, that's a radical. I'm one of those radical conservatives. You know, you hit a pregnant woman and knock her out. I'd just soon see somebody put a bullet in your head as, you know, have to spend a bunch of taxpayer money prosecuting you. I really would. You know, sometimes I long for the good old days. Yeah, they were harsh, dangerous. Oh, well, how's that different? You're a pregnant woman and now you have to worry about somebody sucker punching you, maybe even killing you. Some people have been killed by this when their head cracks the concrete. Now you walk down the street to the grocery store or the mall or wherever she was, and you got to worry about somebody sucker punching you, you know, just for a game. We're in deep trouble, ladies and gentlemen. Deep, deep trouble. I'd like to see more people, you know, carrying weapons. I'd like to see these clowns try and sucker punch a few more people who are, you know, who have eyes in the back of their head and pistols in their front of their belt. I really would like to see a couple of these guys get shot in the head trying to play the knockout game. I really would. It's the only thing that stops this mentality. I know that sounds cruel, but it's not. Playing the knockout game on a pregnant woman is flat out evil. And as far as I'm concerned, best way to deal with evil is to dispatch it to the other side. Tired of it. Tired of innocent people being hurt by what? By scum. And in the good old days, you know, I said I reminisce about the good old days. In the good old days when people did things like that, they got shot. They got shot. Before, after, during, they got shot. And that's how society weeded out these type of people. It was good for society in the long run. It weeded those people out, kept them from procreating. I'm just saying. I'd rather have that than this. Just saying. Moving on. I want to get to Ferguson. I've been hesitant to talk about it because I don't know the facts. Nobody does. Except God, the kid that's dead. They know the facts. We now know the witness who said he put his arms in the air and the cop just shot him in the chest. We know now that, you know, him and his buddies, that witness, they strong-arm robbed a convenience store. Put their hands on people. Got physical with a store employee. Yeah, they only took about $50 worth of cigars. And by the way, I'd like to know. I want to see the toxicology report of this kid. After seeing this video, there's a video of him, and I'll try and get this up on the Patriot Media Network Facebook page. There's a video of him and his buddy strong-arming store clerk. Reached across the counter, pushed the clerk around, grabbed $50 worth of cigars, and then the clerk came around to block him from going out the door. You can't leave. He grabbed him by the throat, turned and, you know, marched toward him like he was going to do something, and then turned around and walked out the door. This is the poor, innocent little kid. And then all day, even conservative sites, these cops are stupid. Why'd they put this video out? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it speaks to the man's character. Just like Trayvon Martin, just like when they put out pictures of him, when he was 12 years old. I didn't even know Trayvon Martin was a grown adult until, 2 months into that story, because all the media showed was him when he was 12 years old. Well, the cops put the video out to speak to the man's character. And if you look at what he did in that convenience store, A, I want to know what they were going to use them $50 worth of cigars for. I want to see his toxicology report. And B, it speaks to his frame of mind that day. And the guy who robbed with him is the guy who was the witness who said he raised his arms and the cop just shot him because he was black. No, I don't think so. We have conflicting reports that the cop was responding to the robbery when he came across the kid who fit his description, and then we had another report late in the day that said, oh, no, that's not right. It was another cop that was responding, and the cop that shot him was didn't even know that he was, involved in the robbery. And Andrea Tantero. Well, if they didn't know he was even part of a robbery, then why did they kill him? Shut up, you moron. And if you watch this video, does anybody believe for a minute, that's why I want to see the toxicology report, does anybody believe for a minute that the guy who strong-armed that clerk, apparently they were standing out in the street and the cop told him to move off the street, you're blocking traffic, get up on the sidewalk. Does anybody believe the guy that strong-armed that clerk, when the cop said, hey, you're in the street blocking traffic, get up on the sidewalk, does anybody believe he just threw his hands up and said, oh, yes, sir, officer, yes, sir, don't shoot me because I'm black? Does anybody believe that? The kid I saw in that store, whether he was high or whether, he was just had an attitude that day, he most definitely had a confrontational attitude. I've been skeptical of those cops for good reason. I've been suspicious of the policemen and the police force. But after seeing this video, I'm leaning back towards their side now. I don't believe for a minute the kid that was in that store would have complied with the police officer's lawful order to get out of the street. I don't believe for a minute he would have just been so nice to the police officer, and he had his hands in the air, and the cop just shot him because he was black. Now, I don't believe that anymore. I wasn't sure, that's why I didn't talk about it. We still don't know for sure. But the evidence is definitely swaying the other way, which is why they put the video out. Oh, they just put it out to vilify his character. They just put it out to smear him. Doesn't matter why they put it out. It shows, it gives us something from that day. Hey, it shows us he's not some innocent little kid on his way to college. Shows he was confrontational, shows he was disrespectful, shows he had no regard for the law. Either, I don't care whether you're talking about, if you don't have any respect for the rule of law, then you don't have any respect for law in uniform either. Period. I'm not saying the kid's guilty. There still needs to be a full investigation. We still need to get the facts. My point is that that video tells us a lot.